Hey beautiful souls, it's Guru. Thanks so much for coming down to my mystifying dojo. I really appreciate you guys joining me for this informational vibe sesh. Today, I want to talk about popular breakfast cereals and the dangerous ingredients that many household favorites contain. Ingredients like Roundup. Yes, the weed killer created by Monsanto. If that has you alarmed, well, it should. Some of the most popular breakfast cereals out there are quite toxic and should be removed from your diet immediately. Now and again, gang, I love munching on a big bowl of cereal, but I find it absolutely ridiculous how disgusting the ingredients are in some of my childhood favorite brands. Cereal with pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, GMOs, high levels of sugar, and other harmful ingredients are unfortunately all too common in traditional kids' cereals and can cause damaging health effects to the immune, reproductive, and nervous system and increase cancer risk. Here are some ingredients commonly found in cereal that I feel should be completely avoided. Many kids' cereals are high in sugar or high fructose corn syrup, which is often called corn syrup or corn sugar. Generally, if you see sugar in any kind of non-organic products or GMO cereal, very likely it's high fructose corn syrup. Most conventional cereals contain sugar and corn made from GMO products. Note that these same manufacturers create GMO-free cereals for distribution overseas. Most GMOs are sprayed with glyphosate, an herbicide known to cause cancer. So avoiding GMOs helps you avoid glyphosate residue on your food. Glyphosate is the most popular herbicide in the world and the active ingredient in Monsanto's Roundup weed killer. It's sprayed on over 200 different crops. You'll especially find the residue inside wheat, legume, and oat products. In August 2018, Environmental Working Group scientists posted a study analyzing the most popular breakfast cereals and their levels of glyphosate. It's very problematic and has been deemed a probable carcinogen by the World Health Organization. It's also been added to California's Prop 65 list of known carcinogens and reproductive toxins. Artificial food dyes are not needed in cereal, and they are very dangerous to small children. In fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics has warned parents about the perils of artificial food dyes and other such food additives. Partially hydrogenated oils contain trans fats, which are linked to cancer, heart disease, and immune problems. Fully hydrogenated oils are full of saturated fat. In addition, some companies will label partially hydrogenated oils as just hydrogenated oils, so you can't be sure if there's trans fat in the product or not. If there is less than half a gram of trans fat per serving, companies are allowed to write 0 grams of trans fat, so guys, keep that in mind. Derived from GMO soy lecithin often contains toxins. According to the Cornucopia Institute, soy lecithin processing often involves hexane, and though it is removed during processing, trace amounts can still be left behind. That residue is unregulated by the Food and Drug Administration, even though it is listed by that organization as a potential carcinogen and neurotoxin. According to WebMD, annatto can affect blood sugar levels, so if your child has diabetes, please be aware of this fact. It has also been linked with allergies, and the Food Intolerance Network has gotten reports linking it to headaches and irritability. If you have a sensitive eater at home or a child prone to allergies, you may want to avoid this flavoring. Found in many cereals, BHT is classified by US law as GRAS, generally recognized as safe. This means that experts consider them safe and they are approved as food additives without additional testing on their effects. In 2014, the National Resources Defense Council, an environmental safety watchdog group, released the generally recognized as secret chemicals added to food in the U.S. report. This report found loopholes in the GRAS classification, including research data coming from the company themselves and expert opinions that disregarded evidence of allergic reactions that compromised the real safety of GRAS additives. BHT is also a chemical additive and may be a possible ADHD trigger. Another GRAS additive, BHA, has been linked to cancer in some studies. The National Institute of Health's National Toxicology Program has concluded that it can be reasonably anticipated to be a human carcinogen. Both BHA and BHT are said to be at low enough levels to meet safety standards for consumption by the FDA. Many kids' cereals are manufactured using something called the extrusion process. This exposes the grains to high levels of heat and pressure, which changes the nature of the grain, effectively turning it into processed food. Foodmatters.com quotes biochemist Paul Stitt, who notes that this process destroys most of the grain's natural nutrients. This is why many kids' cereals are fortified, although extrusion can destroy these added nutrients as well. In addition, the proteins in extruded grains are fundamentally altered, leaving a product that may be toxic. According to Dirty Secrets of the Food Processing Industry, 2 known but unpublished experiments testing breakfast cereal on lab rats exist. In both studies, the rats eating breakfast cereal and water died before the rats that were either not fed at all or fed the cardboard cereal box and water. One published study showed that these rogue proteins could interact with each other and other components, forming new compounds that are foreign to the human body. The real problem with the extrusion process is not just the lack of recent research on its effect on proteins, but that organic cereals, as well as conventional brands, often employ this method. Guys, here's a list of the top 10 worst cereals currently on the market. If you're ingesting any of these cereals regularly, I highly recommend you shut it down. And guys, if you have any questions about maybe some cereals I don't mention today, and you want to know whether they're safe or not, or what I think about the ingredients, feel free to reach out to me, and all you got to do is ask. Kellogg's Fruit Loops. Sugar, hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, modified food starch, annatto, BHT, artificial dyes including red number 40, 10 grams of sugar, and Fruit Loops with marshmallows contains 13 grams of sugar. Kellogg's Corn Pops. Sugar and molasses, hydrogenated vegetable oils, annatto, BHT, and 9 grams of sugar. Kellogg's Apple Jacks. Sugar, partially and fully hydrogenated vegetable oils, modified food starch, modified cornstarch, artificial dyes including red number 40, BHT, and 10 grams of sugar. Kellogg's Honey Smacks. Sugar, honey, and dextrose, partially and fully hydrogenated vegetable oils, soy lecithin, BHT, and 15 grams of sugar per serving. General Mills Lucky Charms. Guys, this is everybody's favorite. Everyone loves munching on Lucky Charms, but guys, it has 10 grams of sugar per serving, corn syrup and dextrose, modified cornstarch, trisodium phosphate, and artificial dyes including red number 40. General Mills Blueberry, Count Chocula, and Frankenberry. Guys, there's dextrose, corn syrup, modified cornstarch, canola oil, BHT, trisodium phosphate, artificial flavoring, artificial dyes including red number 40, and there's 9 grams of sugar in a serving of each of these cereals. General Mills Trix. Corn syrup, BHT, trisodium phosphate, artificial dyes including red number 40, and 10 grams of sugar per serving. Post Foods Fruity Pebbles. Hydrogenated vegetable oils, BHA, artificial flavor, artificial dyes including red number 40, and 9 grams of sugar per serving. Cap'n Crunch Crunch Berries. Sugar, brown sugar, BHT, artificial flavor, artificial dyes including red number 40, and 11 grams of sugar. And Oops All Berries Cap'n Crunch contains 15 grams of sugar per serving. Post Foods Golden Crisps. Corn syrup, honey, caramel color. Although there's not too many toxins in this cereal, it has 14 grams of sugar per serving. And guys, sugar equals acidity, so if there's something loaded with sugar, don't acidify your body with it. Maybe choose something more on the alkaline side. Guys, I'll include a list in the video description of all the most toxic cereals on the market, so you can go check that out and avoid those cereals at all costs. I'll also include a list of healthy cereals, which are great alternatives to some of these popular yet unsavory brands out there. Yes, guys, there are still some good cereals out there. Some of my absolute favorite cereals at the moment are Annie's, Chocolate Bunnies. Guys, these are awesome. I feed them to my kids. Oat, corn, and rice cereal, all fair trade, USDA organic. Super good cereal there. Just, it's chocolatey, but it's not overwhelmingly sugary and nasty. Guys, there's also Naked Granola Taste of Maine. This stuff is amazing. They also make Taste of Maui, which has a slightly different flavor set, but super good. It's a little on the expensive side, and it's not quite considered a cereal, but guys, if you're eating that crappy big brand cereal, go ahead and just shut it down and grab some of this stuff. Kind of on the same wavelength as that, we have Paleo Nola granola. So guys, this is really good. It's kind of cut from the same cloth, dairy-free, soy-free, no oats, believe it or not, no grains, gluten-free, preservative-free, no artificial anything, and no fillers. So guys, they have a bunch of tasty flavors as well. So once again, although it's not considered a breakfast cereal, this granola can easily be replaced or can replace your current big brand cereal, your current toxic cereal. The EWG, or Environmental Working Group, which has received criticism for being too alarmist about toxic chemicals, thinks that even California's proposed limit is too high. It's based on what the state believes may be a 1 in 100,000 increased lifetime risk of cancer, a calculation made from animal studies. For its own risk level assessment, the nonprofit chose to increase that to a 1 in a million risk, the risk factor that California considers for some drinking water contaminants, and then went up by another factor of 10 based on the recommendation from the Food Quality Protection Act that children's health should apply a 10x safety factor. EWG concluded that children should eat no more than 0.01 milligrams of glyphosate a day, or 160 parts per billion in a single serving. Guys, check this out. One sample of Quaker Oats had 1,300 parts per billion. Isn't that utterly ridiculous, fam? The EWG is encouraging consumers to reach out to manufacturers and tell them they don't want glyphosate in their food. Farmers often use glyphosate not only for killing weeds, but just before harvesting a crop as a way to dry out the food so it can be harvested more quickly. That isn't necessary, the EWG argues, and it makes it more likely that these chemicals end up in our diets. Glyphosate is definitely on people's minds right now because a jury actually found Roundup to be responsible for a landscaper's cancer, and they awarded him $289 million. Knowing this information, how could you possibly buy a cereal with this crap in it, especially for a child who is way more sensitive to toxins than we are? Guys, think about it. All right, beautiful soul flowers, that's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for once again joining me in my Mystifying Dojo for this extraordinarily informational and vibey chill session. I really appreciate you all. Whose line is it anyways? Drew Carey once said, "Eating crappy food isn't a reward, it's a punishment. So stop punishing your body with horrible breakfast cereals." My name's Guru, aka White Shaman, aka Natty Boo Boo, aka the Alkaline Tiger, aka Gooba, aka the Last Samurai, aka Winnie the Goo, aka Shepherd's Vibe, aka Inspector Guja, aka the Spider Monkey, aka the Heated Blanket, aka Sham Wow. And as a top tier stretchiologist, a decorated gootritionist, and a first-team all-shaman wellness savant, I completely oppose the ingredients found in the majority of popular breakfast cereals and urge you all to seek out some yummy alternatives to some of the big brand crap that's made most available to us. Guys, I created this channel out of love, so show me some back by subscribing and sharing this video with your squad. And remember, be like the sun, and what is in you will warm the earth. Much love, much hugs, peace. I told her drop that